Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, what's up, man?
I am very, very good. I am very, very happy because we have a awesome guest today.
Yes, we do.
We have Avaah Blackwell.
Yeah, but what's more important is who are you?
Who am I? I am Paul Veracci. I am your co-host of Film Fights with Friends podcast.
Yeah, and I am Stephen Keffer on this filmmaking journey we're about to take you on.
And keep on forgetting, we have to introduce ourselves in every episode.
I know. We have to remember that people don't remember us.
Yeah, remember us.
So we just have to do that, But yeah, I love Avaah. Avaah is awesome. We've trained with Avaah. We know Avaah.
Mm-hmm.
She's just an amazing all-around person.
Amazing all around in the industry too. Acting, stunts. I mean, she has crossed planes that many have tried and not succeeded.
Yeah, for real.
We have a chupacabra, you could almost say, on our hands today.
That is true, man. But she's been in over 40 episodes of Star Trek between Discovery and Strange New Worlds. And today we're going to focus on Strange New Worlds a little bit, but we will start talking about Discovery.
And what's also cool is if you haven't had any, Avaah is also a prosthetic, you could almost say, like a prosthetic actor or artist. That's kind of what she's getting known for, is working
she does
in big prosthetic and creature stuff.
Yeah.
So this is actually going to be really cool because we've never had someone on here that was so driven. Not her isn't driven, but kind of where her career has taken her into that world of prosthetics and creature stuff.
Yeah. I mean, she's been so many different aliens on Star Trek, and then even we get to talk a little bit about your favorite show,
What We Do in the Shadows.
What We Do in the Shadows, where she got to do more prosthetic work.
I thought I when she started talking about it, I wanted to ask more because I was like, oh, I thought it was like one day. But no, she got brought back. She had multiple different parts.
Yeah. So, dude, she's in.
I'm jealous.
Really
I just came to the realization I'm jealous.
You just did?
I just realized it. Shit, I'm jealous.
Dude, I want to work Star Trek and I want to work Star Wars, and both of them are basically in other countries.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a challenge. Man. So yeah, this is a great interview with Avaah. But before we get to that, dude, what do we got to talk about? We have the art of filmmaking, art of movie. I did it this time. It's the art of movie
making film festival.
Yeah, that we are sponsoring. Yeah, this October. And they are having, amongst all their categories, which is all the crafts and artisans involved in movie making, they are having a stunt performance category,
along with visual effects.
Yep.
Speak of the devil. Is visual effects and prosthetics considered
visual effects? I think is all like digital stuff.
Is it digital stuff?
Like special effects.
Okay.
SFX I think would be the
special effects. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, like, when I was working on The Walking Dead, and there, when I got stabbed and they were just like, oh, and then they just had someone come in and map my whole face out.
Oh yeah. Totally.
And then they were just going to do everything afterwards.
Yeah.
That's
visual effects.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was considered a digital effect.
Probably, if they're going to do stuff to your face in post.
Yeah.
That's
do visual effects digitally?
Yes.
I didn't know if it was like two different. Do you know what I mean? Visual effects, digital effects.
Digital effects, I think, is a subset of visual.
No. I don't.
Effects.
Dude, there's so many different subgenres. Like,
I mean, they're their own thing, I'm sure. But,
that's what I was wondering.
It's like, but it's one is beneath the other or under the umbrella of the other.
Copy that.
That would be my guess. I could be totally wrong, and if I am, please comment on our show and let us know.
Let us know what the fuck we're talking about.
We don't mind if you tell us we're wrong, as you know from our prior episode.
Right.
Our friend Greg on YouTube who let us know that we were wrong.
We also have another private screening coming up.
Yes,
this is great. We have the Safe Sets private screening.
Yes, the documentary
for our Patreon members and select invite industry guests.
Yep.
I guess we're going to have a private screening of the Safe Sets documentary.
Yeah, and it's going to be on August 16th, Saturday.
And we're going to do a Q&A with the director, producer.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's going to be a fun time, guys. If you're not a Patreon member, this would definitely be a reason to jump on for a little bit.
Yeah, totally. If you want to get a ticket to this live show, you definitely want to support us on Patreon. 100%. I mean,
for sure.
We would love your support either way. But if the perk of coming to our live shows for free is something appealing to you,
Mhm.
consider supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, you can always support us in other ways, likes, follows, subscribes,
Yeah.
on YouTube, Instagram, all of the following places.
Show us love, dude. Just show us some love. Definitely. But real quick, how was your week, man?
My week's pretty good. It's weird. I work for Hard Out. I do all kinds of things, and there's these all kinds of whispers about, when the industry goes slow, they're possibly now, instead of using the companies to drop off the tables and chairs and all that stuff, maybe that the unions are now going to pick
Yeah.
people up, because they're trying to find ways to give everybody work.
Well, I mean, that's what's happening. The
Mm.
industry is there's for a variety of reasons, which we don't have to get into, but
Mhm.
there's definitely less work.
Yep.
So there's a lot of demand and not a lot of supply. So obviously, the people with a little bit more pull, say the unions, are gonna try and push their way in and get some work.
Mhm.
So it makes sense, dude. Totally makes sense.
Sure.
I got I had to submit an audition, as you know.
Yes, I
You
helped
helped
you
me
with that
shoot it.
today.
And everything I'm about to say or about to talk about is not to sound like ungrateful,
Right.
right?
You're happy you got the audition.
Yes, you want auditions. You want people to consider you for roles. You want people to think about you and put you in front of the casting
Mhm.
agents and whatnot. But some of these fucking auditions, man, are so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I won't talk about this one specifically, but one in the past, for example, like we've done plenty of auditions in the past where you get your sides, you don't have any dialogue whatsoever,
Mhm.
and literally it's like a facial reaction
Mhm.
or something, and the directive is to have a reader do the rest of the scene so we can just see your reaction. And it's like a full page of dialogue. It'll say like start here, end here, and all I have to do is just look a certain way or whatever. And I'm like, listen, I can look shocked, like the one scene was from Gotham, and I know you've been asked to submit self tapes for
Mhm.
Gotham a lot back in the day. They were notorious for auditioning many, many, many people,
Mhm.
by self tape, casting the wide net for the most silly things.
Mhm.
Like one was where it was the role was for one of Penguin's goons, right? It was at a dinner party.
I was one of Penguin's
I
goons.
know you were one of Penguin's goons, and it was at a dinner party, and the audition was for the person serving food to the guests at the table, and literally the scene was the person picks up a sausage from a serving tray, and puts it on the guest's plate using their fingers. And then Penguin yells at them. I still remember, use the tongs, Carl. Right. And your audition was just to look shocked when Penguin yells at you. Huh? That was it. Send us a couple of takes of that, or fight scenes. Remember, we got submitted for Ray Donovan the movie for the fight scene
We had to basically shoot a previs.
over and over again
Mhm.
because it was a 3-person fight scene, and we
Mhm.
were being submitted for each part.
Yep.
So not only did we have to choreograph a fight scene,
We had to play 3 different parts,
yeah, so we had
each of us.
submit it over and over and over again. Which, by the way, in the new contract for those listening, they're not allowed to ask us to do fight choreo and stuff anymore. But like the auditions that you sometimes get are the opposite of that, where you literally have to do nothing.
Mhm.
Where the coordinator, and this is not the fault of the coordinator. This is all about casting, right? The coordinator has nothing to do with this, but the stunt coordinator could just say, "Here's 5 people that I know can do this action. This is what they look like." You know what I mean? Pick one. Let us know.
Mhm.
And I feel like this all started more like with like after COVID, and with the sheer volume of self tapes that had to happen. Like before COVID, when we were doing in-person auditions, I got called in for an audition for City on the Hill,
Mhm.
and they were like, it was for a fight scene with Kevin Bacon, right? And they're like, but there was dialogue in there. And so they're like, "Hey, listen, Steve, we know you can do the fight stuff. We're not worried about that. Just go read the dialogue for casting." Like that makes sense, right? We know you can do the physical stuff. But when you're auditioning for something that has zero dialogue, zero physical stuff, dude, just send in a headshot. Just send in my selfie. Like the one we shot today, the scene we shot today, I needed someone to be doing something with me on camera.
You needed 2 people to read a page and a half of dialogue roll. You were looking scared.
Yeah.
And did nothing, no lines, no nothing, just sat there. You were in the scene that he and I were doing.
It's a massive waste of time.
You know, and it's just like, do
you remember
if they need to audition you for something like that?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to. Why the fuck are they calling you? Why don't they just call someone they know can fucking do that?
Oh, totally.
Like, it's such a stupid fucking thing to audition somebody for.
Yeah. Like I said, you could just look at a bunch of headshots.
Look at a couple selfies. Or just look at the film reels and it's been like, oh yeah, they can do it. They did it right there. Done. Bring them in.
Yeah, totally. Do you remember that one that we shot for Michael Brennan for Power, where he was playing like the preppy drug dealer? And I had to learn that whole scene to do the dialogue with him. The scene had a fight, and then he had to get thrown through a table, and then there was more dialogue after he gets thrown through the table. And we literally had to choreograph the fight and shoot it with Mike. And again, that takes like multiple people, you know, and not everybody has access to a studio like what we're sitting in right now, you know.
And then, you know what I mean? The time, the effort, that all of that's hours and hours and hours out of your day and other people's day.
Yep. Totally. Well,
and then sometimes they're like, I need it in 24 hours.
Oh, well, sometimes, yeah, it's like we need it ASAP. You know, sooner the better. And just generally, right, when you're submitting auditions, you want to be one of the first ones they see. Like, the chances go up, like, as if you're in there early. Totally. Well, thank you for letting me vent.
You got it, buddy.
Paul.
You got it, buddy. That's what second wives are for.
Yeah, man. So, hey, listen, I think that's about it, right?
I mean, yeah, I'm excited. Let's just get into this fucking interview.
Yeah, let's
bring Avaah
into this interview with Avaah.
Shut the fuck up with all your whining.
All right, Avaah, come on in. Whoa, Avaah, I can't believe we finally made it happen.
We made it happen! Yay! Go us.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, not as excited as we are when you come and train with us, but this will do.
I know. Me either, frankly. It's tantalizing. It's a little like just seeing you guys over there, seeing the studio and the dojo.
I know. I had such a good time up in Toronto.
Yeah, you rocked it. People are still talking about that.
They're still talking about how they need to keep me away. I might come, but I might not get back to this country.
Yeah, like, same. I might attempt to come, and then you might never see me again, or you might not see me for 9 months, and then I'll surface somewhere.
Yeah, seriously. I'm gonna wipe my social media before I come up to Toronto next time. Oh God.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you know, we always start with a fight scene. And we totally I mean, you've been in a bunch, and your career is pretty impressive. But we're gonna start with your fight with Leon Noonien Singh in episode 3 of Strange New Worlds, Star Trek.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? La'an?
Cool.
La'an.
Yeah, La'an. Played by Christina Chong.
And so you were doubling Rebecca Romijn, and I'll just say that it's amazing how many episodes of the different Trek universe shows you've been on, between Discovery and this and Section 31. I'm totally jelly, as you know.
We have a question relating to that, but we're gonna hold it until after
we have a good question for later.
All right,
but let's talk about that fight. So for the listeners and the viewers, hit pause, go to the show notes,
and watch the fight,
and then come back and unpause and listen to the rest of this conversation. So let's start, like, when you this was episode 3, so this is Strange New Worlds is still pretty new at this point, right? And so walk us through what happens. You get the sides, or you get the script, and then what?
On this show, because it was so new and so exciting, we didn't even get the sides or the script. At that time, that's stunt coordinator Neil Davison. And the fight coordinator at the time was Eric Daniel. who we love. And he's moved on. He's working on other shows now. Like he's moved up. And so basically, I didn't know who I was doubling, what was going on. I walked into the studio. They told me into the rehearsal space. They told me I was doubling Rebecca Romijn, and I was like, "Really? Cool, sweet." And
Isn't that weird?
they,
Wait, just a pause. Isn't that weird? Like when I got on American Horror Stories, I didn't know I was doubling Henry Winkler till I got the call sheet.
yeah,
I was like, wow, thanks for letting me know. This is amazing.
yeah. Thanks for the heads up. Like, so I could research my person and make a good impression in front of them and like know about their work and stuff.
Yeah.
I know,
So
but
you
it's
find
like
out you're
sometimes
doubling
it's
her.
just, yeah, that was pretty cool. And uh, that it was a big fight. It was also like our first time shooting on the AR wall for that show, like same kind of deal that The Mandalorian shot on, which I mean, it's still exciting now, but it was really exciting then because this was, I believe, the first show. It was definitely the first show on, other than Discovery, like Star Trek owned the first AR wall for studio use in Toronto. And I think it's the second one in Canada. I think there was one in Vancouver, but it could have been the first one in Canada. I'm not quite sure. So it was pretty cool. Like we were learning all about how to build a fight, block a fight, do a fight on the AR wall, which is pretty easy because you can switch in and out practical sets in the middle of the set, and then you have the wall all around you that changes. Like we were in the warp core.
Yeah.
Is that like
And
when they have it all up on the different walls and the chains and they like
No, this
up,
is all
yeah,
digital.
send them down? It's all digital. Oh, it's all digital.
it's all digital. Yeah, no, there's no change. It changes. It's all digital. It's like a wraparound wall. Like just imagine like my entire background here. Like if I'm doing this and this, like that would be and how you're shooting on an AR wall. Like wherever you point the camera, the wall's all kind of pixelated. You see sort of like a blurry background version looking thing of what the set should be, and then wherever the camera's pointing, it suddenly comes into sharp focus, and then it's recording and putting stuff in. So you're wrapped in the world of a set, like a giant green screen, like you're seeing a green screen, what would be on it in real time. And then in the center, you have practical pieces of the set. So it's kind of the best of both worlds to shoot on in terms of like everybody imagining the same world, you know?
And that can all be controlled real time, which is pretty amazing, right? Like everything on
Yes.
that screen can be controlled real time. Lighting, weather, like
Hmm.
not I mean you were inside in this one, but weather, background
Yeah.
people, like actions.
It would be so cool if we had that when we were shooting mocap. If we had that extra
Yeah, I know.
little
Hey.
bit. Wow, that's
Yeah, no,
awesome.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So okay, so this is so you're all like kind of doing this on the fly. The fight
Yeah.
coordinator must have had an idea of what was gonna happen.
Well, yeah, they obviously, so as like the fight coordinator and stunt coordinator have done prep, they have all the scripts and stuff. It's just the doubles when we're coming in. It just at that time it's more relaxed now, but especially when it was like early days, Strange New Worlds, it was such a big show and under such intense like NBA lockdown. And it was the middle of COVID too, like so everybody was in super protective mode. Um yeah, we just didn't get any of the sides or the story. And when we came in, Neil and Eric had pre-built the fight, and we sort of just like puzzle blocked it in ourselves. And then we worked it for a couple of weeks because the double and I had never fought together before. Christina Chong's double, and then we worked it to get Chrissy and Rebecca up to speed too.
Right. And so Christina Chong, who plays La'an, her double is Christine Trin.
In that
Also
fight, it was
Christine?
Christine Chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, also Christine. And then I believe she's moved on to, she's no longer in, I won't speak for what she's doing right now, but she's doing like
Right.
some cool stuff on Instagram, like more spiritual based stuff.
Oh,
Her,
cool.
Chrissy's double from like kind of that fight forward is Leiko
Oh, cool.
Pierogi. Yeah, Leiko's cool. She actually was just doing some exciting projects on the other side of the border in your city. I won't say which ones, but because I
and
want her to keep her job.
She didn't give us a ring. How dare her?
Well, she was really busy. She was shooting every day, 16
Cool.
hours a day on an intense film. Yeah.
Oof. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
all right,
Leiko is now, yeah, anyway. In that fight,
No. Yeah.
it was Christine. Yeah.
Cool. So you guys, you have it all worked out. And so how you know how it is. Sometimes when you're double, you don't have to do much, and sometimes you have to do all of it.
Hmm.
And then everything in between. So how did that work out with Rebecca Romijn?
This was all of it and everything in between. I mean, Rebecca's awesome. She does a lot of stunts. I mean, she was Mystique. She knows action. She knows how it works. She knows how it rolls. Um, but she was pretty happy to let me do all of it except for the stuff where they had her face. And even like
Hmm.
there's a throw at the end of the fight. They
Hmm.
just use the wide with my face in it when I turn and I get on top of Christine.
Hmm.
Yeah. No,
So up until yeah,
I
like
actually screenshotted that because I could
yeah,
tell when I was rewatching the fight that throw and then you go to mount, that was
Hmm.
totally
yeah,
you. And I was like, I got to screenshot
yeah,
that.
yeah. It was only after that fight, like, that I started doing grappling because that fight had some grappling in it, and I was like, I need to get better at this. So then it was shortly after I got
Mm.
introduced to you, and I was like, I'm gonna start my grappling.
Oh, that's so cool. Had no idea.
Yeah,
I
Very
thought
cool.
you were
yeah.
kind of always into it because I know you have. So your martial art training prior was more stand up stuff, or?
It was all striking. Yeah.
Mm.
My foundation in martial arts was as a kid, I did like 10 years of competitive karate. And then from there, I went into like boxing and medieval sword work because I'm a nerd. And I did a bunch of fencing and medieval like um, short sword, broadsword, rapier dagger, um,
Cool.
shield, all that kind of stuff. And then from it wasn't until I broke my ankle actually that I got into grappling because I could start training it sooner
Right,
That's
because you
because
were
cool.
gonna
I
have to
didn't
be
have
on
to
your
stand
feet.
up. Yeah, I just had to avoid heel
Yeah.
hooks.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are not fun when they go wrong.
No,
That's for
especially
sure.
on the ankle.
No.
Okay, so everything in between, and then you guys shoot the fight, and so what was the feeling on set? Like, did you feel like we nailed it, or did you feel like, oh my god, how hopefully we have a good editor, or like how were you feeling it after you guys shot it?
No, I mean, it's such a supportive and cool team, and I was already very familiar. I as a double felt like we were nailing it. Um, and the team made us feel like we were nailing it. Everybody works towards excellence on that show at all times, especially Neil and Eric. Like they work at such a high level, and they've been fighting since they were babies, wee babies. So
Right.
they're amazing at giving constructive feedback in high pressure situations in ways that you like immediately get it because they've been coaches and stuff too for many years. Neil's a very gifted teacher too, which makes him an excellent coordinator. And he moved up through the ranks. Like he started as a performer and was one of the best up here in Canada. Is still one of the best up here in Canada.
Hmm.
And then because he has so much experience working as a performer and loves performing so much, he's so good at collaborating with us, especially in those intense situations. So it was a bit of work to like match Rebecca's movement because it was my first time doing that. And as you know, when you
Hmm.
double, it just takes a minute to really like
Hmm.
really get their movements in your body because they had me doing the walk in, they had me doing the dialogue from behind. Like I
Hmm.
I don't do this with all actresses, but Rebecca is really cool when I learn her lines and I say her lines for the scene when I'm in it doing it. So it's marking timing and everything. So yeah, I felt like we were nailing it, but there was definitely some just like technical challenges with the AR wall, and then it was pretty technical fight. Like what ended up in the cut is less than as it's always how it goes, but especially on
Uh-huh.
track, it's like less than a third of what we shot
Oh, I
for
believe
the
it.
fight. Yeah. So it was a
What
long
are
day.
some of the
When
what are
you shoot a fight, this is kind of a weird question, but sometimes, they'll shoot something over and over and over again. I'd be like, again,
Hmm.
like a punch or a hit, again, 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 again. Do you find that the more that they shoot something, it does it when it comes to a stunt or a slap or a hit that it pulls you out of the scene, or does it bring you into it more? Do you know what I mean? So the more
It's
opportunities,
situation
because
dependent and how like
some
confident.
stunt people are
Yeah, yeah,
like, by the 15th time they did it, I'm like, I didn't know what they're like, I didn't know what they wanted. I didn't care. I was just like, let's just finish this slap and get it over with. What do you want at this point? So I guess what
yeah.
I'm trying to say is coming from an acting background before you kind of got into stunts. Do you find that more time is better for you?
No, I mean, it it every situation is different.
Hmm.
Trek specifically, I know most of the directors that rotate through. I have a good
Right.
working relationship with them at this point. So when it's
Hmm.
Trek, I can understand what they might be going for and help them get there. And oftentimes
Hmm.
it's not you, the performer, it's camera, and they're pretty good at telling us on that set. And Neil, Neil and Eric and now Vincent Rother is our fight coordinator the last couple seasons. They're very good. If it's something we're doing, they come in and tell us right away. There's no
Hmm.
questions. Um, on other sets, when I first started out and I wasn't confident, when I didn't really know how a set works, when I was still cutting my teeth on everything, of course it would
Hmm.
kind of make me wonder and pull me out of it. But at this point, it's just kind of like, if they're not
Yeah.
telling me, if there are no notes, then it's probably not me. And if I have that question, I will speak up and ask.
I
Great.
mean, Trek
Yeah.
alone, you've been on over 40 episodes across across the
Hmm.
Trek universe, so you've
Yeah.
definitely cut your teeth for sure.
And you have kind of you're kind of stunts on one and acting on another,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
so to
Yeah.
speak. So you.
So we're just for the listeners, on Star Trek Discovery, you play like a couple of characters. You're Lieutenant Ina, you're Osnullus,
Mhm.
and then a whole
Hmm.
bunch of you've been Klingons, you've been all different stuff under the makeup
Yeah,
because they've been
Kelpians.
rotating.
Yeah.
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 So Paul, your question about being an actor on one.
So, you're an actor on one, you were stunts on the other. You went to school for acting.
Yep.
Yes, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Good.
you have made a transition that us as stunt people kind of roll our eyes at, but you have done it pretty successfully, I will say. And that is going from
Thank you.
acting into stunts. And you are a working actor but you are also a working stunt person.
And and it's also interesting, right? Because I guess the stereotype is that it goes the other way around usually. Like the stunt people kind of
Want to
evolve
become
into being
actors.
actors.
And most actors that try and do stunts, they realize what it is and they're like, fuck this.
And vice versa. When I get a lot of lines, I'm like, oh
Fuck
my
this.
God, fuck this.
Like I have to do hooked on phonics when I have a lot of lines. Like
Yeah.
I got to go back to the basics. I feel very
Yeah.
not, I guess, not confident in what I'm doing when I have a lot of lines.
Well, that brings it back to what Ava just said about her confidence. So
Hmm.
yeah, just so to Paul's question, what was that like going from that world to the acting world to the stunt world?
Yeah, it was a it I'm it took me a while to truly realize that they are two different skill sets. I grew up doing theater and martial arts, and not that stunts is only martial arts, it's a lot more, but it kind of rolls in that part of your
Mm-hmm.
physicality, psyche, your brain, your
Hmm.
being. Martial arts and stunts is very much that. And then theater, drama, performing, acting is that, right? And then transitioning it all into film. It took me a while to just, for whatever reason, realize that they are like sister careers, and they're not the same career. But in Canada, work it people tend to do different things up here, or they have. Like now, there's a lot of work, a lot of productions. We are so blessed that there's a lot of productions up here, so people can sort of just do one thing. But growing up and when I was first coming into the industry, it was like
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't just be a working actor. There wasn't enough work except for maybe like 10 people in the country, right? Um, so you had to diversify your skill set. And it's still like there was definitely like a lot of eye rolling at me that you're talking about when I was an actor, and I was like, I want to do stunts. And I had the martial arts background, and I had the creature, like the prosthetic background, which really helped, and that's why I started working with stunt performers, like alongside stunt performers so much, is because I was in prosthetics so much. But it did take me a while to get halfway decent at it, and I had a lot working against me because I was an actor. So anytime I messed up or anything. It was sort of compounded and magnified because people were
Mm-hmm.
looking at me through that actor lens.
They would they judge you like, oh well, of course, because like whatever, she's an actor, she's not, like they put you in a box.
Yeah, a little bit. But fortunately, I was a little bit naive to that, so I didn't really see that until like I had the bliss of ignorance working for me in those moments. Um, and then you become aware of it, and then you get self-conscious, and then you just got to work through that. So I just made myself work through it. And,
And you have. Holy cow.
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I finally feel like I'm okay at stunts.
So
Getting okay, dare I say.
Yeah, right.
So was it easy for you to kind of, when you do a fight, I know as a stunt person, it's very easy to do the fight. It's very hard to act while you fight. Was it easy for you to just kind of like throw in some lines in the middle of a fight and then just get back to the fight? Or would you get pulled out of that and then forget how to fight while you give your lines? Because I feel like we kind of do the opposite.
Well, that was one of
We stop fighting to give our lines sometimes, and then we get back into the fight afterwards.
That was a very early note that I got. It wasn't even a fight. I was doing a wire gag on this movie, and so there's a whole chase scene where I'm just acting. There's no stunts. It's just being an afraid person. And they're like, "Oh my God, that you were really selling that fear!" Like they really loved it. And then when it came time to do the wire gag, the note was, "You're not you stopped. You're not doing that. Like you need to do that acting right now while you're on the wire too." And it, like my brain still hadn't integrated being able to do that while I'm doing that.
That's the thing, right? Because of the angle I came from, I always understood, and it wasn't clear to me that, I mean, most seasoned stunt performers and the great ones, and as you go through it, you do come to understand this, but when you're first starting out, a lot of stunt performers don't understand that you are there to drive the plot of the story. You know what I mean? Like we're telling a story and the action that you're doing is driving the story, and you're in the scene. You're a performer. So that always came naturally to me. There are moments where it took my body and my ability and my intention to be able to meet up. I think that's similar to what you're saying on the wire gate, because like when you're on a wire, when you're like on a ratchet, when you're about to get lit on fire, when somebody's going to throw a punch at your face really hard and you're thinking about selling it technically, like you have to think about that. So it takes a while for your skill set and your ability to act it out to match, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So that just comes with time. But I was lucky that I always had that intention whenever I was trying to learn a fight. So I do notice, like even now, it works to my advantage ultimately, and to the advantage of the team, because on camera, on the performance, it's always smooth and seamless. And we get, from producers, directors, on-set writers, they always tell the coordinator, and the feedback I get is that I seamlessly, I act it out. I'm one of the best performers in that way. But it does, because I'm thinking of everything from that angle and through that lens, it does take me a little bit longer to learn the choreo. So I'm not as fast on the uptake because I'm thinking of it from a performance standpoint. I'm getting, now my skill set is closer, so I'm much quicker on the pickup for choreo and and able to retain it longer. I don't have to go away and think about like the intention and everything, right?
I could be wrong, but I feel like that when you screw up acting, that is something. It doesn't matter who or what you are. The people who are watching you do what you do. I feel like that screwing up the acting is almost worse than messing up the choreo, just because of the history of film and what it is that you're doing. So it's this weird thing where I've been, behind the camera, and I watch, and you see someone mess up the choreo and they shoot it again. You see someone mess up the acting a couple of times, and then people are like, "Mother," like,
yeah.
I think,
like, are they going to figure it out? Like sometimes in choreo, it can be different things that are messed up. It's not only this one over and over and over again, they're messing up this move. Sometimes it's you get through that, and then it's this, and then that. A lot of the times when I see it in the acting, it's they can't get past this one part.
There's a perception that actors should show up and know their lines, and there's a perception that
Exactly.
stunts is hard and it's physical and it's scary, and of course they're going to screw up. It's a little more technical. Yeah, I think there's a lot to that. And ultimately, what I sort of tell people watching an actor like struggle through a thing, I'm like, look, guys, actors make acting look easy. That's their job. It's not easy. You also don't know what rewrite was just handed to them. You don't know when they got cast. You don't know what emotion they're working through, what note they just got. Like, we don't know, and they're not going to tell us because they're working on a different level, and you're trying to access so much more in yourself and present that in a way. I mean, having done stunts now, I don't like having like thrown myself off buildings and again being lit on fire and all that stuff and getting hit by cars. It's like now I don't care if acting isn't so scary for me anymore. I'm able to sort of put myself out there because I've been through your bandwidth of experience. Like my window of tolerance is a lot greater now, and I realize like the risk to screwing up a line is not that bad versus the risk of screwing up a stunt. So yeah, it like when the pressure's on, it can feel like, oh god damn, I'm screwing up my lines. I have it's my one job to know my lines, but that's not just your one job. Your job is to be compelling enough for an audience member to want to watch the entire story that you're in, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I love those moments. I love those moments when you're on set, or me personally, when I'm on set, maybe I'm doubling somebody or just stunting, whatever. But I get to watch the actors do their work, like where I don't have to do that much at that moment. I find that the most amazing thing. Like, I feel like it's almost like my own private little play. You know what I mean? Like there's been so many moments like where I like the show that I was just working on, I got to watch Matthew Rhys do this scene
Cool.
that with Jonathan Banks. I was doubling Jonathan Banks on this show, but there's most of this day I didn't really have to do very much, but I got to just watch them act, and it was insane. I love those moments, dude.
Sometimes what to me the amazing moment is when when the director yells cut, and then they go right from this amazing emotion, like Tom Pelfrey, when I was on Iron Fist, he was um Ward Meacham, I think. And he was Danny Rand's best friend, and he was recovering, and he was going through withdrawal, and he was freaking out and fucking crying and sweating and like, and then they yell cut, and he literally doesn't even blink and just turns and finishes a conversation he was having before the scene with his makeup artist. And then they yell action again, and he goes back to going through heroin withdrawal, and then they yell cut, and he just goes back to having a conversation like that.
Yeah. So impressive.
Is so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's amazing and like for me, in my experience, I won't speak for other actors, but for myself, it's when you hear action, like you're in that, and then when you hear cut, you're out of it. It's yeah, well, it's like extras. Ian McKellen, he's like, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, you shall not pass, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian.
Right.
Yeah, if you've seen that episode.
To do, I feel like, because when
but
I was doing,
but that's what people think about us. Like, it's so hard to throw a punch. It's so hard to fall down. It's just you just gotta. It's just practice.
I guess over time you get used to it. Because I remember when I was, Carrie brought me on to be a rapey, creepy guy, and the entire time they're like, oh, do say weird shit. You know what I mean? Like make it, and I'm making myself feel uncomfortable. I'm getting so freaking creepy. And then afterwards, people are talking to me, and I'm like, I can't go back and forth. I was like, can you leave me alone and let me be creepy? So I don't have to keep finding this creepy guy again, because it's really uncomfortable to go find him.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just being able to been like, yeah, okay, next.
But
next guy,
I
next
feel
character.
like that's like even when we're doing stunts or something, and the butterflies are in your stomach and you're waiting. But the minute they say action, that just like stops. It just
Mhm.
goes. It just disappears.
Mhm.
Not when I'm acting. I get butterflies.
No, not when I'm acting. Not when I'm acting. Dude, it's so scary. Like, this is why I admire you guys so much. Like, when I was on Hunters, I had to get shot and do this fall, but I had to say a couple of lines, and the whole time,
And you had to hit a mark for your head that was right behind your
yeah, I had
feet.
to hit this mark and, like, on the fall or whatever, but the whole time I was not at all worried about that. It was my 2 lines, and, I'm gonna get killed by, Sister Harriet, right, the nun assassin woman in
Mhm.
Hunters, and she's going through this party, and I know she's looking for my character. She's going from person to person, you know, "Are you Ken Swiggins? Are you Ken Swiggins?" And she's walking around, and I hear her getting closer to me, and you hear her getting closer to me, and I'm getting more nervous, because I'm like, "Oh my god, as soon as she gets to me, I'm gonna have to say my freaking lines," you know? And in a German accent on top of that. It's like,
You had
well,
to do the German accent. Were you
yeah,
good
but
at
I
it?
could, but they didn't want Colonel Klink. They wanted like somebody who'd been in America hiding for like 30 years, so
Oh, so it was just a
very,
very slight German accent
yeah, very
somewhere
subtle,
in the back of
very subtle.
your throat.
Yep.
Cool.
Stop, stop making me feel
Right?
insecure right now.
No!
I'm
Sorry.
like, God,
I,
I'm
No,
like
but
listening to you. I'm like, oh man, he was
but you
fucking
know what?
terrible.
They had, no pun intended.
no.
No, they had a dialect coach there, right? Like,
That's
and
great.
yeah, and but no pun intended, the dialect coach was a total Nazi. They were like, "That's Swiss German. That's not German German. It's
That
the
is
wrong
not
kind of."
High German. That is not
Yeah.
Hochdeutsch.
So
Yeah,
they
no,
were like,
no.
"Oh, they were like, you did great. You were awesome." I'm like, "Oh my god, thank God."
Good. Oh, awesome. Yay. I have no
But
doubt that you would have done well because you both of you can always rise to the occasion. That's
the
just in
larger
you.
point is like when they say action, if you're confident and it's something that you're like with the acting for you and
Mhm.
or like the physical performance for us. Once I hear action, I'm like, good.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Mm.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the challenges of performing in front of the I'll call it the volume because that's what I think of, but in front of the digital,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is like the
yeah.
volume.
What you mentioned that there are very specific challenges regarding doing a fight in front of that. What were some of those challenges?
Well, I mean, like from a performance standpoint, it's pretty easy. But it's just you have to do a lot of resets for technical. Like
Mm,
the software is always getting better, but there was a lot of times where like they lost the connection, the wall went down, so it'll just go dark. The camera like just didn't quite get it right. So there's a lot of technical challenges that way.
interesting.
From a performer standpoint, I'm like, oh, we're just shooting in a studio. It's kind of cush. Like I don't have to imagine. A lot of the imagination work is done for me. Like I can just focus on the performance. I'm in the world already.
I mean, does it help you when you see what's on the screen? Does it bring you into that moment?
Yeah, it helps a
Yeah.
lot, and it helps.
Yeah.
It also helps performers harmonize better because we're not all imagining our own version of the world. We're not all saying this is blue, and meanwhile she's imagining your version of pink, and they're on
Mm.
green, and everybody's
Which
saying
is
it's blue. You know what I
literally what
mean?
mocap work is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yep. Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Very cool. And but you were so you were on Discovery first, correct?
Yeah, Discovery was my first, and it was
So
supposed to be one day.
how did that happen? How did you become identified as okay? Because you're known as the actor over here. How did the jump happen, or is it just by chance or
I think it was a
coincidence?
little
Or
bit like it was a little bit of when like hard work meets opportunity, and then just a
Mhm.
bit of luck. It came like straight through Neil Davison, the coordinator, and I had met
Right,
him like so. I've been acting on Discovery for a few seasons by the time, well, for 4 seasons by
right.
the time sorry, for 3 seasons by the time Strange New World started, and I was like established as a prosthetics performer on that show, and as a human performer for Ina, Lieutenant Ina. And I had met Neil a couple of times when he was covering for the stunt coordinator on Discovery, Chris McGuire. So he was covering stunt coordinator, and I just went up to him, said hello, said, I'd love to work more in stunts and would love to work with him someday. And that was that. Thought he was very nice. He thought I was very nice and sent in my stuff, never heard back. And you know, you send the email, it goes down the black hole, and you're like, that was a nice interaction. It won't ever amount to anything. Strange New Worlds had been casting. I had read for a few small parts, and then I got an email from him. He said, "Hey, can you send me a selfie and your resume?" And then I sent it, didn't hear anything back. And then he's like, a few weeks later, he was like, "Hey, how long is your hair? Can you send me some pictures of you with your hair down, like right now?" And I was like, "Sure." And I did it. And then he was like, "Okay, do you want to come in for a rehearsal?" And I was like, "Sure." And then I came in for the rehearsal and found out I was doubling Rebecca Romijn.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
So,
Yeah.
I gotta ask because, Steve's a big Star Trek fan, but I love What We Do in the Shadows, and I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that in your resume, so I've got to ask, what did you do on that show? That's one of my favorite shows. I
I've
didn't
done
bring
a
in
few
my What
things.
We
I
Do in the
love.
Shadows. I didn't bring in any of my What We Do in the Shadows stuff because I was today.
Yeah.
As I was going through my entire collection of what to bring in my brain, I was like, let Steve have this one. So this is all.
I love What We Do in the Shadows.
No. But I'm saying with Star Trek wise, I was like, I didn't want to take up more room on the table.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, I
Well,
feel like I always have the room on the table.
Listen, in this last season of What We Do in the Shadows, when he had his vault of pops.
Oh, I thought
first
they
thing I did was text Paul, like, did you screen? Did you slow it down and freeze frame and look at all the pops?
And I literally was like, yes, and they missed so many Easter eggs and opportunities.
Yeah.
They missed so many Easter eggs. I was like, I would have put this pop in there. I would have put that pop in there. I would have done this. I was like, there's so many Easter eggs that I thought they missed.
So tell us about.
But I love that scene.
Yeah. So What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay, so the one that's on my reel is I'm actually a stunt double, but it's sort of turned into a stunt actor role. I'm stunt Gale werewolf. So there's a character named Gale, and she I believe is Nandor's girlfriend for a little bit.
Yes.
Nandor's? Yeah, Nandor's girlfriend, and then she suddenly turns into a werewolf. Spoiler alert, sorry.
Right.
It's me. So
no, that's a great
whips
episode.
away, comes back.
Spoilers when the show's done.
Right, of course.
Yeah, just in case you haven't seen it.
The funny reveal was that Nandor knew Anne had sex with her while she was a werewolf and he was a vampire.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and my werewolf costume was just like in a bra, like a blue bra and blue underwear. It was hilarious. So I basically had to be a werewolf and then run away in a big animatronic head. And they were supposed to they had this animatronic head was huge and very heavy as they are. It was like 35 pounds or something.
They look like they're no joke.
They're no joke. And it's full of like intricate and very delicate electronics and animatronics that are being controlled by the puppeteers. This was Paul Jones and his crew on the prosthetics side, and the stunt coordinator was on set that day was J.F. LaChapelle, and the supervising stunt coordinator was Teague Fong. And it was this whole thing. We had a couple rehearsals. I had like a fitting, and I had the prosthetics test, and like we tested the animatronics, like got the movement down and everything. And they're like, "Don't worry, you're gonna have a stunt head when you run away on the day. It's gonna be totally fine," because it was outside in January in Toronto. Everything was sheer ice, and it was cold. And they didn't want me running in this animatronic head because it's like $40,000 this head, and I'm blind.
Toronto.
Like can't.
It's Staten Island.
Oh yeah, Staten Island. Yes, we shot this on Staten Island. Yeah, and I can't see a god darn thing in that head. Like my only eyesight is when the mouth is open. They have like a black
like
screen.
A mesh thing.
Yeah, it's a mesh, and you can kind of see, but it's dark out, it's night, and it's winter, and I can see like directly in front of me. I have like 15% vision. But then on the day, they just had me run in the animatronic head because they couldn't cut. It was on a oneer. It was a pan away and then pan to me, and then I did the whole thing. Just had me run and improvise the whole thing.
Do you have to wear those leg things to make your leg?
That one, because I was running so much, I didn't have to wear them for that. But we had them there, and I was trained in them, just in case they wanted to add them in. But because they shoot very they have their storyboard, but then it's a lot of ad-libbing and improvising, and then they just shoot how they shoot. And then this last season on What We Do in the Shadows, I had 2 other roles. I had a stunt actor role as like a disgruntled employee running and throwing things and getting fired in the promotion. The last season, episode 9.
Yeah, this
And
this is in
then
the office
yeah, in the
Yeah.
office.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I have a cut where I'm in it, but I don't think it's in the cut on Disney
Yeah.
Plus. I watched it and it didn't make the cut. And I guess I wasn't that good. and
I
and
doubt
No,
that.
you were
no,
too good.
it
They
was
were like,
fine. They had a whole bunch of stuff shot for the office scene and they clipped it down
ooh.
to like nothing as it happens.
And so that's always, now that you bring that up, that's kind of a tough thing. Sometimes you do stunt work and then you watch the show and your scene gets
It's
cut
gone.
and
Yeah,
you have no idea why, or,
Yeah.
and you're just kind of
it's
left
just
there like,
TV.
did
Yeah,
I
yeah, exactly.
suck? Or,
That's another part of performing that you just got to be confident in. Like, the
Mhm.
coordinator has rehired me several times since that network has brought me in for auditions, so I did
Sure.
fine. You know what I mean? And even if that doesn't happen, if you walked off set and you wrapped the day and it was a good day, you did fine. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you didn't go home in an ambulance and they didn't wrap you right there and just bring in a new person. You did fine.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and then in the second last episode, I was a graveyard vampire. When
Oh,
they're in
cool.
yeah, they're in the graveyard and they're killing a bunch of people. I was one of those vampires.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So are you? It seems like, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like you now have this rep, or at least maybe a go-to person for someone who's gonna be in the prosthetics, in the werewolf head. I mean, is that part of it? They're like, oh, we need somebody who can put on this makeup and all this stuff and still perform. Oh yeah, let's hit up
Yeah.
Avaah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just kind of like stunts, usually prosthetics gives production a list. So a lot of my work comes from like Rocky and Nicola they were the Discovery crew and then they moved to a bunch of they brought me in for Section 31, they brought me in for a couple other things that I can't talk about yet 'cause it's not out.
Sure.
And so in prosthetics, and casting directors all know that I can do it. So if it comes to casting, usually I'm reading for it. But if it's just a list, then for production, like internally, then it's usually straight from the prosthetics people.
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
what is it is it the patients in the chair? Is it, that makes you get the call that you think that, I'm,
It's
damn
for,
good.
I'm like because
in my case, it's a lot of just like not complaining or
yeah.
not complaining, but telling them when something's wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like they need feedback. Like if you're gonna faint, like you need to tell somebody. And that like if you need to sit down, if you really need your contacts out for a bit before the break, like you need to be able to make it through your string of like 16, 17-hour days. So you need to speak up, but you can't. Nobody likes a complainer, So
Of course,
just
right.
yeah. It's just like stunts. Like you're getting paid to be wildly uncomfortable for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. And then you just got to make it look good on camera and speak through it and
When I
act it
sat in
out.
the makeup chair on The Walking Dead, I was in there for 3.5, 4 hours. I loved every second of it. But I also
Cool.
love the effect stuff. I just sat there and I was interested in what he was doing to me. Like that
Yeah,
totally
that's
kept me
cool.
in it the whole time. It was so, and then to just watch the transformation. I love sitting in that chair.
Yeah, your zombie
Yeah.
makeup was pretty amazing.
Oh, I'd love to see pictures of that. I haven't seen pictures of your zombie makeup.
No, I guess we can put them in the show notes.
Well, we'll throw it up.
Put them out, and I'll send them. I'll send
Yeah.
them to you.
Send them my way.
You can watch this episode.
The worst part, like you were saying, was was when they put in the contacts.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
And then they do something that restricts your vision, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, do this, step over that, and go over here and end on this mark."
Yep.
And you're like, "I can't see anything you just said." Okay.
Yeah, great. That's exactly it. Like, if I can, I try to do a rehearsal without the contacts in. It's not always possible. Sometimes they need to throw but like if I can, I try to do a rehearsal in the space with Cameron, just so I have an idea of where everything is, so I can sort of map it when I'm more blind.
I mean, you're so multi-dimensional. Like, what's something that you want to do that you haven't done?
Like,
Yeah, Ava, what haven't you accomplished yet?
What haven't I done? What haven't I done? What would I like? I'd love to like be a 1 through 4 on a call sheet. That'd be super cool on a network television show. Like, I'd love to have that experience. I mean, what actor wouldn't?
Yeah, right.
I think I would like to try my hand at directing. I think that's
but you've done, right? You've done some like short films.
I've done some short films and stuff, but like I'd love to sort of really work a little bit more in that, like understand that more and understand what a director is going through and how they think a little bit more.
Sure.
In terms of stunts, I'd love to do a reverse 180 on set. I've never done that. I'm newer to my driving part of stunts, and I'm like practicing as much as I can. It's really hard here in Canada.
Reverse 180 is my favorite thing to do in a snowy, empty parking lot.
You can't do them here anymore. You get the cops show up out of nowhere and give you stunt driving charges, and you're like, there.
Oh, man,
it's really bad here.
The parking lot for the train station in North White Plains in the back is always empty. So if you go back there, and on the weekends there's no guards there, so you can literally just drive in, go to the back, and just do donuts, reverse 180. I have a blast.
Are you sure you want to put that out on this podcast? Everybody, all the stunt performers in New York are gonna be there now.
What you're gonna?
Oh my God! I hope I would start something like that. That'd be awesome.
When this episode drops, what you hear is, so the parking lot at the is really awesome at this time. Do you have anything that you're working on right now? I mean, of your own that you're in pre-production for, something that you've written or that you're looking at directing or anything like that?
Not at the moment. I did just finish doing like a pretty extensive fire burn reel that I like went down and did with my friend and we put together. So that was just like my first time getting lit on fire, and then we kind of did a bunch of scenes to put together a reel. So, I mean, I'm starting to put together ideas of stuff I want to write and researching like the best avenues here to funnel something into like, because the next step for me after like doing another short or something is to bring that to networks and look for shadowing gigs, like to shadow a director and stuff. So I'm just thinking about what I want to put into the world to be like, this is my
your calling card.
This is my calling card. This is what I would like to direct, this kind of thing. Can I shadow you? Yeah.
So, I mean, there are directors fellowships that you can apply for. Like pretty much every network has them. You know?
Do you have an idea of what you want to film? Like you do all the prosthetic and all the. Do you when you're behind the camera, are you interested in shooting stuff that's effects oriented with animatronics, like a lot of the stuff that you've been working on? Are you interested in doing that?
Action, adventure, fantasy is like my world. That's what I love.
Okay. Nice.
So I'd probably stick in that, and then but to produce that on your own is a little bit costly.
Yeah.
So,
for sure, especially something like that.
So I'm just trying to find a way to do it in a resourceful, but like a resourceful way to put out a high production value. Something that looks like it's high production value. Yeah.
So what do you like to nerd out on? What's your?
Well, I'm rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender right now.
God, I'm so glad you said The Last Airbender, because if you stopped at Avatar, I was going to throw my headphones down and walk the fuck out of here.
I don't like you, Ava. You're no longer welcome in New York.
I'm like, Avatar's so bad.
I haven't seen a single Avatar movie yet.
The Last Airbender is.
I went back and I tried to watch Avatar, and I had to turn it down and just turn on heavy metal music in the background, and then just watch it as a big music video, and it's pretty decent.
That's cool. Yeah, I won't say anything about that franchise. I plead the fifth.
Uh,
Um, I also just finished watching Dan. It's this awesome, like very quirky anime show that's out.
From where?
And it was
I've never heard of it.
it's on Netflix. It's an animated show,
Oh,
but it's so cool. Like the storytelling is freaking awesome.
what's it about?
Um, it's about a a guy and a girl, a sort of geeky guy and a very popular girl, and they go on this like they're just sort of one believes in aliens and one is like believes in ghosts, and they're both like they don't agree that what the other person believes in is real, and then they go on this giant adventure and find out that each other was right, and then they have to fight off all the ghosts and demons. Yeah,
oh, that's
and
cool.
That
alien
is pretty
demons. Yeah,
cool.
it's really
That
cool.
sounds
It's
cool.
really cool. And it's just quirky, good, original storytelling that we don't see much anymore in Western studio network driven and
The IP world.
funded. Yeah,
Everything.
the IP world. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you watching The Studio?
Yes, I am. I was going to ask you guys if you're watching the studio too.
Oh,
Make up
totally.
this.
I
Yeah,
watched the
I haven't seen
first.
I haven't seen the last episode. It just came out, so don't spoil it for me.
Well,
I
will not.
I watched the first half an hour, and then I was like, I need to stop this and watch it with my wife. And so I haven't. So I think
You
I'm
did
just gonna.
TV cheat
I'm just gonna. Yeah. No, I just realized it was one of those shows that like her and I
to watch together.
we need to watch together
Yeah.
because it's perfect. It's kind of. I feel like it's a different take of but the same. It kind of reminds me of the franchise already a little bit.
It's
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of it's in that same sort of vein, but I feel like
I feel like a lot more
different movies.
I was gonna say I feel like
Two
more
different
people
movies.
are gonna be able to relate to the studio, like kind of
Yeah.
as The Offer about the
Yes.
making of The Godfather, as opposed
Mhm.
to the franchise where I was like, great concept, but I feel 60% of the jokes only industry people are gonna get.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
and yeah. No, I agree. What were you gonna say, Eva?
my partner is also in the industry and we watch it together and we have a great time, but it's also very stressful because we're like, oh, we're dealing with all of this stuff all the time.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love
mean,
how
I
many
feel like
Canadians are in it too.
I feel
There's a lot
like
of
the
Canadians.
studio is a bit more. I mean, I feel like they both are sort of laying down an accusation about the industry, right?
Mhm.
Like sort of the same. They're making the same commentary, like
Mhm.
about tentpole productions and the sacrifice of art and storytelling and XYZ, and which is a real thing, obviously. But I feel like the studio is a bit more of a love letter to film.
Mhm.
Whereas franchise is just like almost more from the
Just
craziness
from
of
the
the crew, and like it's not as much about
It's more of the manic story.
Well,
yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, the franchise is from the perspective of the first AD,
Right.
and the studio is from the perspective of a studio exec who starts out loving film.
Movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loving movies, you know.
And like whereas in a franchise, the director, like right, the director in the franchise wants to make a movie, and he wants to do
With
what the
substance.
Seth Rogen character wants to do. We can do a big IP movie that still has artistic value, right? But
Yeah.
the difference is that the director in the in the franchise was an idiot, right? So he couldn't really do it.
Yeah, but
But
that actor, I love Daniel Bruhl.
oh
He's
my
one of my
god,
favorite
He's so
actors.
funny.
So good.
so good.
It would be the ultimate crossover if he came on as a director on the studio.
Oh, how
It'd be awesome.
I could see Seth Rogen doing that because every
I could.
episode has, and not to spoil the last one, I don't want to spoil the most current one for you, but every episode has that kind of,
Hmm.
little weird Easter eggy type of, like the one take episode was a one take,
Yeah,
and
and it was bookended by, well, it had Rolling Stones at the end, and it
yep,
was a
yep,
oneer, and
yeah.
yeah, and so much.
I know Paul didn't see second episode yet.
I don't
We're
care. You know I don't
I
care.
know you don't
Spoilers.
care, but the episode is about shooting a one take, but the whole episode was an actual one take.
Mm.
So it was a one take about shooting a one take, which is insane.
Oh, that's cool.
I
And
thought it
then
was awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
the episode with Ron Howard. I mean, all the cameos are great, like
Yes.
Scorsese. So yeah, the studio's making a stronger sell on the value of film as an art form than the franchise did,
Mm.
really.
Yeah.
So good though. But you know what? You know what's really weird is that okay, so isn't it weird that studios would green light shows that criticize studios?
I think about that all the time. Yep. Well, not all the time, but like while I'm watching it, I'm like, wow, this is funded by a studio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right?
bizarre. Like, are they so secure in their ways that they don't care? You know, or
I
do
don't
they
know.
just know that like this is
Okay, I look at it this way.
yeah
It's not like they're making a Harvey Weinstein thing. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
They're doing stuff that has been a line of humor and an underlining of storytelling since the industry has started.
well yeah
So I
there's
really
always
don't
been
think
the
that
movies about
so I
the
really think
movies.
that they're just picking and choosing these different versions of those stories to tell, as opposed to if they were gonna, again, like I said, if you're gonna make something like Harvey Weinstein where your production head is like, doing that's that's a whole different avenue that you're now
Yeah,
going
it's
down.
true. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So
it's
you
true. There
kinda
was
you kinda
probably,
can't even toe the line with it. You just need to stay the fuck away from it.
No.
yeah. I'd be interested to hear like from like Seth in an interview or something. And I don't know if there ever would be, if there was like stuff that the studio said that they can and
Mm-hmm.
can't shed
I
light on
yeah.
or talk about, like,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, if
it's like
like
you
the
can
real
touch this,
life
but not that.
version,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
like what he has to do to the filmmakers in the show.
Hmm.
Did that happen to him?
Oh,
Like
for sure.
because he was I listened to he was on Talk Easy podcast and it's a great interview. Everybody should listen to it. But he talks about all the inspirations and real life events that led to different stories in this, in this show and his own experience with producers and stuff, but he didn't specifically mention how the pitch for this show, he didn't mention
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
specific to this show, like how the studio heads related to this show.
Mm.
But
Interesting.
in a way, I kind of feel like it's like the algorithms on social media. The negative posts get way more play than the positive ones. So
Mm.
I feel like
They
the
do.
studios are just like, let them criticize us. Who cares? It's gonna get a lot of views. A lot of people are gonna watch it.
And they're really not doing anything that hasn't been coming to light over with
Yeah,
what the film
Yeah.
industry is like over the past few years and
yeah,
what people are trying to bring to the light,
hmm
and even in a more serious matter, like when we have our safe sets,
hmm
all that stuff, kind of comes into play with the stories that they're trying to tell.
right. Yeah, yeah, totally. So what's coming up in your
Oh,
future?
and I was also going to say, ideally, I don't think what they want people to get is a negative idea in their head after they leave the show of Hollywood, but more of a
Yeah.
holy shit.
Well, Seth Rogen truly believes that like if you listen to these interviews with him, he truly believes Hollywood is not dead, that there is just like he doesn't believe the doom and gloom. Like he's not saying that
Mm.
things are not bad, but he's not all like Hollywood's dead and blah blah blah. He's really what I love about interviews with him, he's very positive about the industry,
That's
about
cool.
that things will come back and it is cyclical and this and that and the other thing. And I like to try and stay positive, you know.
You have to.
You have
Yeah.
to. I mean, that's why I try to stay away. Like I totally embrace like the like Take the Crew Stories group, right?
Mhm.
I know it's
Brew
like
brew stories.
yeah, Bruce Stories, but I not to devalue the community that is built up in there and the support that they're giving that everybody's giving each other, but it's also so fucking depressing to go in
Mhm.
there that I try to
Hmm.
stay
Yeah.
It's a
away
lot
from
there's a lot of woe is me in that,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of
It's
like a good philosophy for life and like the world right now. Like you should kind of look at it and be aware, but when all that water starts getting into your ship, you should sort of get out. Make sure you can bail yourself out so you don't go under.
Mhm.
yeah,
Like with the
totally.
news and everything, it's just like, wow.
Well, it's true. It's like,
Like sometimes look, sometimes you know that water's gonna get in your ship, right? And you're
Hmm.
just like, and you kind of watch it, but then it comes to a certain point where you have to stop watching the water to come into your
Yeah.
ship and just get it the fuck out.
Like you said, you have to kind of be aware and honest about the situation of things, but but also you can celebrate the wins.
Mhm.
It's like with the
Mm-hmm.
Oscars, right? With the Oscar for stunts.
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
I know, right? Thank God, finally.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but
Freaking
then you look at
finally.
the comments, and there's so many like snarky, well, oh, just in time for the collapse of the industry, and blah blah, like all these people that are negative about it. I'm like, you at that point, you made a choice. You could choose like,
Yes.
yeah, this is great, or you chose, I'm just gonna shit talk because like
I
whatever.
also love that they found a way to give the award without destroying the illusion of what the actor does. To me, that's such a huge part of what we
Yes.
do is helping people believe that that actor does all of those fucking things. Like, it's kind of your job to shut the fuck up and let him take the credit for it, and you sit there and know that you were the one who did it. And everybody else does too, but, you know, I love that this award doesn't take away that illusion from people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how,
Yeah.
we I don't know if it
I
does
mean,
or doesn't yet,
I at
because
least I feel it doesn't, because I'm like,
I,
"Oh, it doesn't say that, like, if a kid is gonna watch the Academy Awards or whatever, and he doesn't really know the ins and outs, and then all of a sudden finds out that someone else did his favorite character's thing." I feel like that's
you mean that they're focusing on design and not performance.
yes.
Yes, I get that.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say, is that the overall aspect of the design has to do with the performance. It's kind of all included,
Yeah,
is what I'm saying, is they're not making one specific award that lets everybody know that this guy didn't do this.
I get you.
right.
I mean, and I prefer a design-oriented focus
Hmm.
over a who did the coolest shit kind
Right,
of
right.
award, you know what I mean?
Because
Yeah.
if they're like, "Oh, the coolest stunt award," whatever, but then you're letting everyone know that, this guy didn't do the stunt, that it was someone else. I feel that's part of the illusion, that why we do what we do is to help sell that illusion, and I think we should finish it all the way through.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm curious to see what the criteria will be and all that kind of stuff as, when they start dropping all, you know.
Yeah. Same. Me too. And I think, like, to your point, but then also just to like play devil's advocate for a
Yeah,
second here.
please
I
do.
think
I
I
love that.
think like audiences, especially in the last 10, 15, 10 years, and really like 5, 6, audiences are a lot more savvy about stunts now, and
Mhm.
there's a lot more interest. I think largely in part because of social media.
Uh-huh.
People
100%.
follow stunt performers. People want
Mhm,
to understand the show, like
mhm.
action design, like, and YouTube. There's so many channels on YouTube where you can like Corridor Crew and all those guys. Like, so audiences are a lot more savvy to the fact that stunt people exist and that there are stunt
Mhm.
doubles and that they do a lot of the stuff, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
a lot. It's not like when the Oscars started and
Yeah, it's not
people
like
didn't
the
know.
man behind the curtain anymore, like,
Yeah,
and I
no,
mean
so much.
they use stunts as promo for the films
Mhm.
now. So it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
but
No, I get it, but it's
yeah.
like, you don't have to show the puppeteer because, puppets aren't real.
yeah, exactly. No, I agree
Yeah,
with you.
that's all.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
That's my part of it.
yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I very much agree. But I think it's a good time to have this award coming out and just more,
It's awesome.
a little bit more of a spotlight for stunts.
And especially because stunt design gives so much, the praise spreads. It spreads around. Like,
Yeah,
like you said, it's not a
exactly.
specific thing. This one guy did this. It goes to in every single person that
Hmm.
that helped design, that helped be
Yes.
involved, that helped get the shot, all of that. They're
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
included,
Hmm.
which is why, like,
Well,
great award.
that's what I'm curious to
Really
see,
good.
like how they're gonna how the award's gonna be.
Presented to,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
like
who gets it?
well, yeah, who gets it, or is it a team of people that get it, or like who's included in the team? Like at what point do you like involve the camera ops? Because or the like who's
Mhm.
like basically who's the recipient or recipients? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna be interested in. Like second unit director. I mean, you have directors that are very actions savvy, and then you have directors that are completely not. And, so there are directors who lean on the stunt coordinators and the second unit directors more, and then there are ones who don't. And so I'm just curious to see like how it's all going to play out.
Yeah, me too.
I have a
It'll
really
be
stupid
cool.
question.
Stupid question. We love those.
Right?
them.
Especially when they come from me, because there's so many of them.
They're the best.
When you give an Academy, so let's say best movie, right? You have best director. I know who gets that award.
Right.
When you do best movie,
Best picture.
Best picture, sorry, does that get spread out to different, like
It's the producer usually gets that.
is it the producer? Okay, that's what I was wondering. I don't know who actually holds that best movie. And then when it comes to the award, do they like, is there something they send out to everybody that was involved, or is it just this one thing with this one award at that one moment?
I think
like, I have no idea how it works behind the scenes. So I'm just kind of wondering.
Got me, but I think like teams of people will each get their Oscar.
Oh, okay. Word.
I don't think it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like some award shows like make you, I'm sure this is not one of them, but or maybe it is. I don't know, but you have to pay for your own award, like the Signal Awards that you tagged me on for the podcasts and stuff.
Oh yeah.
If you win, you actually have to pay for your own fucking award. Like I almost like for the trophy, you have to buy it.
It's like the Hollywood. It's like the Star, right? Don't you have to pay a certain amount of money and then pay for the upkeep every year?
Stars now,
and that's it. You buy your star, and then it's like $10,000 a year for upkeep. That's how you get your star.
Bullshit martial art Hall of Fames where people have to.
The ones that we always turn down.
Yeah, where you actually buy.
They're
like, oh, it's time for you to, and like, no, we're not going to that.
I know.
Like, I'm not.
I didn't know those.
Are you going to give me an? I always ask them, like, am I going to get an award if I don't go? And they're like, oh no. I was like, then I'm not coming.
I was like, I've gotten notifications, Ava, like, oh, you're nominated for this U.S. Martial Art Hall of Fame thing or whatever. And if you accept, you're required to have fill 12 seats at a banquet table and all this kind of.
And pay for each.
Yeah.
And then, but if you don't go, you still don't get your award. And I'm like, so I didn't get an award.
Oh, so it's just pay to play. They're like, here, fund my event, basically.
These are all by
no touch knockout guys
who like to collect pieces of paper that say how awesome they are. Yeah. But
and we have one of them that we laugh at.
Oh yeah, I have several that we laugh at, and a lot of these Hall of Fames and award shows are like the same 20 to 25 people that all just, it's like a mutual
circle jerk each
society.
other. Yeah.
Totally.
It's the same in a lot of like these smaller short film festivals and all that stuff. It's like
yeah
kind of deal.
I have to say it, but have you ever seen Zach and Mira make a porno? We're speaking of Seth
I haven't
Rogen.
seen it. No, I haven't seen that movie.
Oh my God. Since you just used the term circle jerk, you need to look up the term.
Okay, I need to know
between
is the etymology of what I'm
Jason
saying?
Mewes and Seth Rogen, and they're talking about like jerking
I'm writing it down.
off someone else, but not having it. Dude, I can't even explain it. They're basically like talking about how you would take someone else's hand and use it so you're not being gay, but you're still jerking. It is you have got to watch this. It is the funniest scene ever.
It's on my watch list now.
So you've
the
been
things
watching
I
White
learned. I need to start watching White Lotus as well. I have not been watching it.
Oh, well, when you get to a particular episode, this whole conversation will make
so much sense. I'll call you.
Ava, it's been so awesome to have you.
It's been awesome. I love talking with you guys. I wish we could hang more. I miss you. Right? I hope everything's going well.
I hope everybody loves our interview of us hanging out for an hour.
That's the best. Those are the best. Those are the interviews I like to listen to.
We did some interviewee stuff.
Maybe that's a question.
Yeah, it was a good hybrid.
I know I tried to ask at least 2 questions.
Listen, our average retention rate for this show is about 78 to 80%. So people are making it mostly through most of the show. So that's pretty good. And for those of you who are not making it that far, you can just fuck off right now.
If you're not hearing this, you can fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't hear that.
Right. They don't fucking hear it anyway. And for those of you who want to let people who haven't heard this show heard this, you can just play that scene for them. Just play that clip for them. Fuck off.
Maybe we should make that our social media, our vertical video for this episode.
If you don't watch us, fuck off.
We'll do like the last 5 minutes. Yeah.
If you're not hearing this, you can fuck right off.
That's it. Ava, it's been great, man. I can't wait to see you in person and hang out
I
again.
know. Thanks
Yeah.
for hanging with me. I
Oh, it's
can't
been
wait to
fun.
see you either again, both of you.
And we
Either of
can't
you.
wait to see the new season of Strange New Worlds is soon, right?
It is impending. It is
Yes.
it is imminent.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Yeah.
I really love that show. I think it's one of the best new Trek shows or Trek shows in general. I love Strange
It
New
is
Worlds.
I love all my children. I love all the hands that feed me, but there are
Yes.
favorites, and Strange New Worlds is one of them.
No, but the show is just so good. I remember like when I just need to just throw a last minute amazing props out to Anson Mount because like coming from Hell on Wheels, like seeing him on Hell on Wheels and then as Pike, it's like
Yeah.
holy cow. That guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's got range, man. He's so good.
Holy cow.
Isn't he right? He's in Marvel too. Didn't he have a quick little
Did he?
as
I don't know.
I know Rebecca's back. Should they just announce that she's going to be Mystique?
who's the deaf guy with the lightning bolt on his head or whatever? And he like if he makes a sound and
Thank you.
Black Bolt. Anson Mount was Black Bolt. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Thanks, Matt.
Sweet.
Thank you, Matt.
That was Matt, our producer, in the
I was totally brain
voice
farting.
in our. I know they don't hear your voice. You see, now they think I'm just talking to myself.
Oh no, that's why I said thanks, Matt.
Right now. Anyway,
Matt's in our heads right now.
Let's call this one a wrap. And
all right.
It was awesome. Thank you so much. That's not German.
I'm not joining in on the accent bullshit.
You did great.
Get the fuck out of here. Let's go.
All right. Later, guys.
Right. Thanks. Later. Bye, everyone.
Film Fights with Friends is produced by Stephen Kepfer, Paul Veracci, Press Record Studios, and Breakfall Studios. This episode was engineered by Matthew Kaplowitz. This show is powered by our supporters at Patreon and is a registered trademark of Film Fights with Friends, LLC. Original theme by Aru Luster.